Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Abundantly Aware. I am so glad that you're here. Today's episode is a doozy, and I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but I have to say it, okay? Journaling is not a manifestation tool. I said it. This episode is scary for me to record, but I feel like it needs to be said. I know that that's not a popular opinion on the internet. And if you love journaling to manifest, like that's your prerogative. I'm not here to take that away from you, of course, but I am here to make some space for a different truth. Because if you've tried journaling to manifest something and it hasn't worked, you're not broken, you're not doing it wrong, and you're definitely not alone, coming from experience. And let's be real here. This is my space, and in my space, we're going to go be honest about how we feel about certain topics. And if it moves people away from this space, I'm sorry, but bye-bye. So honestly, nowadays, I really can't scroll for more than 2 minutes without seeing content that says something like, journal your way to your manifestations, or 4 ways to manifest your dream life through journaling, or my personal, it hits home. Write these 10 affirmations every day to attract 10K. And honestly, that kind of content really frustrates me because it oversimplifies both manifestation and journaling. And I want to talk about it because I've done it all. Honestly, I've done it all. I bought the journals, of course. I've done the 30-day challenges, the 7-day challenges. I've even done 90-day challenges, actually. And I've written the affirmations and I've filled out the gratitude lists, which is, if you didn't listen to my other episode, 7 life-changing things that did not change my life. Gratitude is one of them. And I followed the steps exactly as prescribed to me in those journals that I bought on Amazon. And guess what? It didn't work. It didn't work for me. Not because I didn't believe hard enough, which is what they like to tell you, or I didn't try long enough, which again is something they like to tell you. No, it actually takes 30 days. You can't do it in 7, or it actually takes 90 days. You can't do it in 30. But I've tried them all, and it didn't work because I wasn't prepared for what I was asking for. Not because I didn't do the tasks that someone told me, but because I was not prepared for what I was asking for. And I wasn't taking action, and I thought journaling alone would be the answer because that's what people on the internet told me. All you have to do is just sit on your couch and dream. No, people, absolutely not. And here's the truth that I believe to be true. If all you're doing is writing out how grateful you are and saying everything is amazing on paper, it can start to feel like a performance of positivity and somewhat of a bypass of what's actually going on inside of you. And I'm sick of it. I'm done. I'm done with that rhetoric. Do I believe in manifestation? Sort of, but not in the way that is often sold to us. What I see online is someone manifesting 10K by selling 1K manifestation courses to 10 people. Yeah, that's definitely going to do it. That's not divine alignment. That's a marketing funnel. That's the top of your marketing funnel. Your Instagram account. Like, I don't believe that manifestation, like I said before, is sitting on your couch writing, I am rich 10 times and waiting for $1 million to show up in your inbox or mailbox. Because I find that a lot of times people are like, oh, I got this random check in the mail. No, it wasn't a random check in the mail. It wasn't. For the most part, I know almost all of the things that are coming into my bank account at any given time. I don't understand these people that are like, oh, it just showed up for me. What? Are you so disconnected from your money that you don't see it coming? The only check I ever get in the mail is from Rakuten for like $40 every quarter. Shut up. So I don't see that as manifestation. And I feel like that's magical thinking, just a little bit. For me, manifestation is being ready, prepared to take action when the opportunity and the magic show themselves. Because I do still believe, just a little bit or a lot, in magic. Let's say you want to buy a dream house, your dream house. I did this. This was one of my manifestations at the time. And it shows up out of nowhere for you. which congratulations. It's the perfect price. It's the perfect time. It's the perfect house. It's everything that you ever dreamed of in the perfect place. That's really amazing. That's wonderful. You stayed positive long enough to see your dream come to fruition. However, if you haven't talked to a mortgage broker or a real estate agent, and if you haven't gotten your finances in order, then that house just passes you by. You can't jump on it because you're not ready. You haven't taken the action to put yourself to be ready. And I think people that say, I manifested this house, they don't talk about all the action steps that absolutely have to be taken. And so when people are like, okay, I can manifest my own house, and they try to do it, but nothing's in order, they haven't taken the action, you literally can't. Like, within our universe, there are constraints that the humans put on things like buying houses. Manifestation is not about calling this thing in with the perfect words and the perfect way to say it. And oh my gosh, I can't be negative because if I'm negative, I'm going to lose everything. That's not what manifestation is. It's about preparing yourself for the moment that that thing arrives and knowing how to say yes to it. And when I say preparing, I mean a lot of different things. Preparing your mind, not only, but also your action steps. You know, staying positive is definitely helpful in the process of manifestation. I know that for a fact because this year I've decided to take on the word of optimism, and that's my word of the year, one of them. And I found that being more optimistic about the future allows me to take the actions that I need to take, especially as someone with ADHD. When I get into the negative spiral, I stop working and I am totally like, I can't do anything when I'm in that negative spiral. So optimism is a wonderful companion to the manifestation process. So I feel like this is the time when I want to talk about the entanglement with toxic positivity that manifestations you sometimes see. If you thought about, there's a few methods that I've done myself, which is the copy and paste of 10 affirmations method. I've done that, like create 10 affirmations to manifest that thing that you're trying to manifest, and you do it for 30 days in a row. I've done that. Oh, writing down your manifestations 55 times for 5 days in a row. Also done that. And I've also journaled to bypass the real emotions for fake confidence. Don't journal anything negative because that means it might come to fruition, which is false, in my opinion. And we're told, write it down enough and it will happen. Those 55 times every single day for 5 days. I believe there's even a longer one, like a 365 day, which is insane to me. But let's be honest. There's a big difference between naming a goal and expecting the universe to hand it to you just because you wrote it down 10 times. There's a difference between that and the way I journal and the way that I approach journaling. Journaling should not be about skipping the discomfort. We don't skip the discomfort here. We live in the discomfort for a little while. We process the discomfort and we move forward from the discomfort. Journaling needs to be that thing that helps you move through the discomfort so that you can take that aligned action and not pretend that everything is fine while everything is crumbling around you. And I do want to say, I do partake in future scripting, which I love. I love writing a little note to myself in the future to say, hey, everything is amazing and wonderful. And I also, the other day, did do what if it all works out? Because I was in a very negative headspace and I needed to turn it around. But that's not manifesting. That's turning my mind around so that I can take the action that I want to take in order for things to come to me and in order for me to be prepared for the magic that is inevitably on its way. And I love them. So if you want to try something out, you should definitely try the what if it all works out. And then write all of everything. What if I get that dream car? What if I build this course and everybody loves it? What if I sell out? What if I hit the top 10% of podcasts? What if I record 50 episodes of my podcast and all of them do? What if I get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube? What if I become monetized on YouTube? All of those things. It makes me feel so good. And it's sometimes a little bit hard not to go back into, yeah, but what if it doesn't? Just to be forewarned, might happen, but I do it until I have nothing left to say. I do it until I'm in that reframe of, yeah, what if everything works out? So let's talk about what journaling is really good for and why it's more powerful than manifestation, which I see as hype content and people just selling you on the dream and selling you on the money, right? So for me, this is what journaling does for me. And I feel like for so many of the people that I've had in my workshops and my programs, this is what it does for us. Journaling helps you process your thoughts. When you're stuck in your head, thoughts repeat on a loop. I'm going to give you a really easy one here, which is I need to feel more joy in my life. I'm missing out on the joy. Something's off. Why can't I move forward and feel joyful about my life? And writing it down breaks that loop. And it turns the question into clarity for me. And like maybe you could discover that more joy looks like creating out without needing to monetize, which I actually found out the other day. That I do need some more joy in my life. I do need some more inspiration in my life. And I think that the way to do that might just be actually using, I'm pointing where you can't see, actually using the paint by numbers that I have, or going to there's pottery places all around, of course. And I used to paint pottery and I miss it so much. And that was a joyful moment for me where I didn't have to monetize. I didn't have to sell the product. It could also be like taking your work outside and going and working out on the balcony for me, or going to a coffee shop, or going to the library, or doing something just like playful, just going to the park and skipping down the path. And instead of thinking the same thing over and over and over again, you're able to take action from it, or at least plan to take the action anyway. And don't stay stuck in the just planning. I love that part too. I like staying in the planning field as well, but try and take that action. Try and do that simple step. Journaling for me also helps you regulate your emotions to a point, of course, because I am here for therapy. So if you need to seek therapy, if you need a therapist, if you're in Canada, I have a specific amazing resource where therapy, I think, starts the lowest range at like $39 a session, which is incredible because the higher paying clients essentially pay for the lower paying clients. It's called Ally Therapy, not sponsored, but it's amazing. It's how I found my amazing therapist that I no longer pay $39 for, but she's fantastic. So the other day specifically, I was deeply overwhelmed. Life stuff, business stuff, it just felt like too much. I feel like I'm in that space a lot recently, but I found myself like not being able to act because I was spinning in the overwhelm. I was just like, nothing's going to work. Everything sucks. I opened my journal, not to solve it, but to try and name it and try and move on from it and to let the page hold some of what I really honestly couldn't carry in that moment. And it didn't make the emotions disappear per se, but it gave me just enough space to take that next step. And then over the next couple days, I was able to actually process it and plan and make a plan for it. Make a plan to feel a little less overwhelmed. And I'm excited to take that next step, which starts next week. So journaling also helps you gain clarity. When I have a question that needs answering, I go to my journal first. Always, always. And sometimes I actually go to my journal after. Sometimes I go to my journal and I ask it, and then I bring that same question to my friends and we talk through it. And it's how I sort through the noise and turn into the truth of what I want. Like I might write, I know I want to grow my business, but how? What's my next step? What am I going to do? And sometimes I ask myself and I just free write, but sometimes I don't go to the page per se. I still consider this journaling. And I lay in bed and I look up at the ceiling and I say, okay, universe, what's my next step? And whether I write it down on the page or I speak it out loud or do both, either way, I almost always, I don't want to say always, but I almost always wake up the next morning with the answer. Like it was just there on the tip of my tongue. Sometimes it's in its full-fledged glory and sometimes it needs still a little bit more processing, but at least I've made movement in my brain to think of next steps, which is so helpful. And it feels like it feels great. And you do have to go back. Sometimes the full-fledged thought or the full-fledged step is not completely told to you in that moment. And sometimes it takes a few mornings to realize the full fledge of what you're thinking, but ultimately it gets the process started and it brings some clarity to the situation. So I just want to leave you with this. If journaling for manifestation has never worked for you, I want you to know that you're not alone and you're not doing it wrong. And I don't think it's really what journaling is for. Journaling isn't for manifestation. Journaling is to get clear on what you actually want, to explore what might be getting in your way, and to figure out what steps to take next. And of course, how to prepare for the moments of opportunity and magic and luck that might arise for you. Because that's where the magic lives, not in the manifestation. That's where the magic lives. And if that moment comes when the dream house or job or offer falls into your lap, you'll actually be ready. Not because you wrote it down 10 times, but because you were brave enough to listen to yourself. Because journaling won't manifest your dreams, but it can help you build it. It can help you build it with clarity and with purpose and with real honest action. And I think that that's more than enough of what you can ask from your journaling practice. That felt so good to say out loud, to tell you. I'm going to post this. I'm terrified to post this, but I'm going to post it because I think it's worth a conversation. And if you got anything out from this or you have a difference of opinion, I would love it if you would comment and subscribe here on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcast, because I heard a few people I know listen on Apple Podcasts or wherever it is you choose to listen to your podcast. I would love to hear from you. And if you don't have the comment option, because I believe some of them don't, I know that Spotify does, but I don't know that all of them do. But if you want to comment, you can just find me on Insta, DM me at Abundantly Aware. I would love to have a conversation. Again, I appreciate every single moment that you spend with me here because I know that our moments are precious. And until next time, let's become abundantly aware together. Bye.